All right, we'd like to welcome everybody to the August 4th Audit of Claims meeting. I have one thing to go over so you guys know. There's an, Kevin Jost will be putting a thing in the paper about adding shoulders to South Shore Road. Casey and I went to a meeting in Herkimer County last week with the Herkimer County Highway Department. And they told us it's about $3 million to do it. It's not something that's out of reach, but we need to work to do it. So Kevin's looking into different things that he found out about Herkimer County, and we're gonna work with Mark Nagel, and Don Hale came and really talked up how we really need this to go on. It's so dangerous. We'd also like to do a speed study. So we'll have to do that at next week's meeting. But they thought it was important because I do know that when I've been on there, that upper end of South Shore Road is 55 miles an hour. They're going 70, 75. There's people walking with strollers, people fishing on the side of the road. It's really quite dangerous. So I think if we had a speed study done, it's been done before, and they didn't find an issue. I don't know if people know there's a speed study going on and they slow down, but
Well, the speed limit's 55 and you're going 70, but
then, yeah.
I guess that's not the speed limit problem, that's the driver.
And same thing with the lead club, the town needs to,
Well, and I have asked for more police patrol up there. So hopefully a few tickets given out. Maybe it'll help that issue at least start, that we're not screwing around up there.
Right.
because it changes from, what's it, 30 or 30?
It goes 35 to
Five.
45 to 55.
Yeah, and where it's 45 is too fast.
I think any part of that road at 55 is too fast.
Yeah.
That's all residentials. I don't care if they're a mile into the woods. They're not when they're walking their animals.
And there's a lot of people that walk it and bike it.
Yeah, there are tons.
Was there a description at all, I don't know, it's a little premature, but the shoulder that they're talking about, is it like for bicycles, is it for?
It would be,
Pat, what is
It
it?
would be 3 feet on each side, going all the way up where you can, most of the way. But they would widen it. But you're also talking, how much land do they own actually from the middle of the road out?
Well,
That was another question.
Okay. It was just questioning it.
And then you can only cut down certain diameters, so we're running into a lot, but we're going to look into it anyway.
Right, awesome, I think it's great. Route 28 needs shoulders.
Right.
It's horrible out there, the bicycles on 28.
So I just wanted to let you know, just because there's a letter coming out in the paper, and I didn't want you to get about him wanting this. Cool. Okay, cool. Ian, we have Ian tonight from Burnham Benefit Advisors / Alera Group.
All right. I'm gonna be under 30 minutes, I promise.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
I'll be back.
Oh my God.
You heard me before. All right, I just want to touch, every year I come down mid-year. We don't have the actual rates yet, but I want to just kind of give a mid-year marketplace update. And I want to go over what we see coming down the pipe, because I'll be back most likely September or October meeting, depending on when the rates come out. So, from a health insurance standpoint, I put, like I always do here, because we're under 100 employees, we're part of the community pool in New York. And all the carriers had to submit by June what they're asking for an increase for next year. And we'll know by September, usually, sometime first week in October, what the actual number is. I'm listing here, like I do every year, this is what all the health insurance carriers asked for this year. And those are big numbers. But as I've mentioned in the past, as we've seen in the past, what's asked is not always what is given. So, I'll give you an example. Last year, our letter from Excella said we were gonna go up 13%. We ended up being 4.5. Some years we get the letter at 13% and it's 12. So that's what I'm waiting to get, is that final number. Below here is what our two plans, what Excella's asked for those two plans. All right? Now, for the sake of time, I'm gonna just jump on and hit the most important things. We are with Excella's Blue Cross Blue Shield. They are in the process of acquiring CDPHP, which is another carrier that operates in our area. So Excellus is going to have an even bigger footprint than they've had in the past. Why? Excellus is a Blue Cross Blue Shield franchise. They are one of the larger carriers. They have one of the largest provider networks. They pretty much own the North Country. When I say North Country, it's Syracuse, Utica, Albany, North, when it comes to insurance, health insurance. That's one of the changes. If we flip to the next page, I want to mention one thing, and Don is more excited than anything. COVID sick pay is completely done in New York State. We don't have to worry about paying COVID sick pay out as a town or any private business owners. That's done. We were the last state. It ended July 31st. All right. I'm going to jump down here to the Inflation Reduction Act. Okay. Inflation Reduction Act, this was an enhancement to our retiree plan that started January 1st. So anybody who has Medicare, not our under age 65 non-Medicare retirees, but our Medicare retirees, they had a very big enhancement in 2025. The most they can spend on any prescription drugs is $2,000. And it's not what they're paying out of pocket for most of the drugs, it's what the drugs actually cost that's going towards that $2,000. So this is a massive enhancement to the retiree plan. I did talk to one of the retirees who thought that their insurance wasn't working right because they had gone in to get a prescription, didn't have to pay anything. And they didn't have to pay anything because they've already hit that $2,000 cap. And that was about 2 or 3 months ago. So big enhancements to your Medicare, to all Medicare plans, not only yours, but any Medicare plan starting 2025 has that $2,000 prescription drug cap. And it's not only what you're paying out of pocket for many of the drugs, for most of the drugs, it's what the actual cost of that drug is.
Who keeps track of that? Like, if you get your prescription of any drug, that's where
So it all goes through the insurance carrier, so in our case, Excellus, and they're tracking what the retail price is, what the copay is, and there's this very convoluted government formula that determines what the member is getting credit for towards that $2,000, basically. So it's the insurance company. And once they hit 2,000, they're covered in full for the rest of the year for any prescriptions. So for many people, they're hitting it very early in the year, especially if you take multiple drugs that are expensive. You pay anything the rest of the year. This is a massive enhancement. One of the biggest enhancements we've seen since Medicare Part D came out about 25 years ago. So this is big. And I know I've talked to at least one.
we're going to continue, you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what we don't know is what this is going to do to the rate, because obviously somebody's picking up the cost of all these drugs. So, one other thing I want to mention as well is that, and this is what I'll work with Don on once we actually get the real rates, the federal government just released, because we have to offer affordable insurance because we're over 50 employees. We're part of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. We're subject to what's called the employer mandate. Every January, I come down and help Don with the reporting we have to do. Although the last couple of years we've done it over the phone. She has to do reporting, but we're reporting to the government that we're offering affordable coverage. I've listed here what affordable coverage has been the last couple of years. That's the most the employees can pay out of their W-2 income towards the lowest cost single plan. The good news for next year is that number is going up. We've never had an issue with it in terms of offering affordable coverage. This change for next year just gives us a little more leeway where I'm extremely confident, even without seeing the rates yet, that we're still going to be offering affordable coverage and be in compliance with it. So this is good news for us. It's going to be good news for most employers we work with. Because when that number goes up, what the employer has to pay generally stays the same or might even go down. In our case, we're contractually obligated to a certain contribution from the employees, but it's always been affordable, and this is only going to help that for 2026. So that's some good news. Couple other things. On the next page, we did 2 compliance items. One is the online disclosure. Because we have Medicare eligible individuals, we had to disclose how many of those are. We do that in the spring, and we'll be sending Don the credible coverage letters. That will be coming in September. So that'll be something we do every year for you guys. And then we've also already submitted our annual group information form to Excellus. That's done for this year. That's a compliance requirement we have to do before they'll give us the renewal. So all that's been done And we're good to go. We're just waiting for the rates to come out. This is the least favorite time for me. It's hurry up and wait. And hopefully it'll be very soon, but usually it's around the middle to third week in September that we get all the rates. Now, one thing I want to take a couple minutes, and this is kind of going to be a majority of what I want to talk about tonight, is how we're rated and what else is out there from a municipality for a health insurance option. Okay, so we're with Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield. And everybody wants to be part of a bigger group, right? Because bigger is better. And it's not always bigger is better, it's better claims experience is better. So we're part of a pool with 306,000 other members. The New York State Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Community Pool has 306,000 members. We're part of a big pool. The pool is made up of municipalities, private businesses, public businesses. There's a very diverse group that's part of our pool, okay? So the pool we're in now is very large, and it's many, many different businesses, all right?
The pool is Excellus
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Okay, I thought you meant, okay.
Yep, so if we were with MVP, we'd be part of
Part of their
MVP's
pool.
pool. If we were with CDPHP, we'd be part of their pool, although that's gonna become Excellus's pool. So that pool is gonna get even bigger with Excellus through this acquisition. New York State has to approve everything, so it's taken a little while. It was announced last July of '24. It's moving forward, but my point is we have a huge pool, a very diverse pool, and we're gonna get an even bigger pool. Now, with that being said, we get increases every year, but we tend to be between that 5 to 12 range every single year, okay? One of the items that came up was Otsego County. They've been trying for years to form a municipal consortium. This has been around for years. They haven't got a lot of traction. It hasn't gone off ground yet. It's something we've watched very closely. They're trying to get 2,000 lives. So we're part of a pool that has 306,000 lives. They're trying to just get 2,000, get it off the ground and running. One of the challenges of getting a municipal consortium off the ground and running is finding a carrier, because there's risks associated with this. The other challenge is if you're only going to have municipalities, you don't have that diversity in membership. It's only municipalities, right? So you have a 2,000 life pool of only municipalities. We have a 306,000 life, 100,000 life pool with all kinds of different businesses. Municipalities, from an actuarial standpoint, I'm not saying the town of Webb or picking on municipalities, from an actuarial standpoint, tend to be higher utilizers of health insurance. So to put a municipal consortium together with a small pool, there's risks associated with it. And I want to make sure everybody knows that as your broker, these are things that we're exploring all the time. But controlling costs comes with managing risk. There's two parts to that whole equation. So what I want to make sure everybody understands is that if joining the Otsego Municipal Consortium was something that we guarantee would save money, we would move forward. But they haven't actually even formed it yet. So it's tough to look at any type of claims data. There's no actuarial projection for what this thing is going to look like. It's very, very early in the process, okay? But what we have to keep in mind is that it is very risky to go from a large, diverse pool for health insurance to a small pool with only municipalities. Large pools like we're part of, when there are spikes in claims, whether it's high claimants or just a bad year, like when COVID came through, for example, larger pools can basically digest those spikes a lot easier, and the risk is spread out a lot more. When you only have 2,000 bodies of only municipal clients, that tends to be more risky in the sense that you don't get to spread that risk out over as many lives, okay? So part of the reason why we haven't even really moved forward with looking at it is it hasn't been formed, but we'd be moving from a very, very large pool to a very, very small pool with only municipalities, okay? And there's challenges that come with that, and I've listed them all here, but the ones I want to touch on are you tend to see, with smaller municipal-only pools, larger premium swings. If you have a bad year, that 5 to 12% window isn't necessarily what we're looking at. It could be a much larger increase. And it's tough for municipalities to budget when you have those big swings in claims and premium costs. The other thing we have to keep in mind is that, like I mentioned every year, because we're in the community pool, New York State oversees that whole pool. So that 13% for last year, for example, that was filed, the state scrutinizes those requests. They review why the carrier is asking for an increase, and oftentimes they cut them down, like they did last year, down to 4.5%. We wouldn't have that protection with the municipal consortium. There's no protection. It's whatever those claim costs are. The other thing that they're proposing with Otsego is a self-insured model, which means that we're fully insured. All right, so the insurance company is actually paying our claims. Excellus is paying our claims. Town of Webb isn't paying them. When you're self-insured, the entity that's self-insuring, in this case, Otsego County Municipal Consortium, they're paying their own claims. So if somebody goes in for a $100,000 procedure, they're paying that procedure. If somebody's taking a $5,000 drug, they're paying a $5,000 drug. If you have a premature child, which is close to $1 million in care, they're paying that. If you have some of these cancer claims, they're paying that themselves. So being self-insured, there's benefits. You don't have to pay some of the state taxes, but it's a whole different way to look at insurance than what we're doing. We have an insurance company that's adjudicating claims, paying providers, hospitals, pharmacies. When you're self-insured, you pay them directly. What we have to be careful with is when you have a smaller pool, there's a lot more volatility, okay? When you look back at the last 10 years, which I did before I came here, almost every year we've been somewhere between that 5 to 12% range. We want to be at 5. Last year was an outlier, we were at 4.5. We had one year we were a little over 12, it was like 12.8. But for the most part, from a budgeting standpoint, we're always in that 5 to 12% range. So it's a little easier to budget, anticipate future costs, budget for future costs. One of the things we also want to keep in mind is that we have a union here. And the union would have to agree to a change to a smaller pool with only municipalities. We haven't been able to get them to move to a high deductible plan yet. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing is it's one size fits all. So there's one plan design. We can pick and choose our plan designs outside. When you're in a municipal consortium, there's one plan designs, and the other thing is who's dictating what that plan design is. It's usually the larger municipalities that are part of that consortium. So like if this thing was to move forward, it'd be, the city of Oneonta, for example, town of Webb, and generally the bigger municipalities tend to have a bigger voice. So we want to keep that in mind too. The other one is greater adverse selection. You're starting with a pool of only municipal employees. And what it tends to happen is the healthy municipalities subsidize the unhealthy municipalities. So if we're a healthy municipality, we're basically subsidizing some of these other municipalities who tend to be higher utilizers of health insurance. Then what happens is you see some of these healthier municipalities leave the consortium, which only, if they're allowed to, that's the other thing too, there's a lot of lock-in periods. So what tends to happen is if the healthy municipalities leave, you're left with only the unhealthy, high utilizing municipalities, which tends to lead to more of these premium swings, premium increases, and a lot of times they have to do RFPs to try to go to other carriers who might give them a better rate. Better rate is debatable, but there's some disruption when you're changing from carrier A to B to C. The other thing is there's almost a snowball effect in the sense that you get going and you start having some of these healthy municipalities leave, so the premiums have to go up to make up for that. And then some of these other municipalities say, hey, I can get a better deal outside the consortium. If we go to the last page, I want to just show you, for example, has anybody heard of NISHIP, the New York State Health Insurance Plan?
So
No.
That's the largest municipal consortium in New York State, and one of the largest in the country. So NISHIP is for any state employee, so mostly, it's the page right at the top that says examples of municipal public sector consortiums. I think it's the third page.
it's not the last one. Second to last.
Second last one, yeah. So NISHIP would be an example of a municipal consortium, okay? There's 1.2 million members in this pool. So this is a bigger pool than the community pool, But again, it's not a diverse pool because it's only New York State, and generally public sector New York State employers, a lot of teachers, prison guards. Those tend to be who's part of NISHIP. There's over 800 local municipalities. It's also called the Empire Plan. I don't know if anybody's heard of the Empire. That's NISHIP. They're the exact same thing. But just to give you an idea that we actually have better rates outside, these are the NISHIP rates for 2025. Bless you. And then these are the actual town of Webb rates right here. About 78% of our enrollees would be paying higher rates with NISHIP, which is again a municipal consortium, than if we were just in the community pool. All right, some of them are considerably higher. For example, the employee spouse, employee child children rates.
Just not the family plan.
Family's the only one. I'll tell you why, because NISHIP is only two-tier. If you're a NISHIP, you have a single rate and a family rate. There's no employee spouse, there's no employee child. So those are the only two options with NISHIP. So I'll give you an example. Groups leaving NISHIP, we broker Long Lake Central School. Right up the road. They used to be part of NISHIP. They found it to be a better deal leaving NISHIP and coming to the Excelis community pool. They're doing what we've proposed every year, that bronze high deductible with Excelis with an HRA. And it's just one of those examples of a group that said, hey, we don't want to be subsidizing these unhealthy employers anymore. We can get a better deal outside of the consortium. The other ones is BOCES. Everybody knows what BOCES are, the school consortiums. So there's a huge trend right now with school districts leaving the BOCES consortium. Why? Because they can get better rates outside of the consortium. Canton, for example, Long Lake, I mentioned Ogdensburg, Lisbon. These are just some of them that have contracted with our office or have used us as a consultant in some capacity to explore the rates outside the consortium, and the community rates ended up being better. I also listed here just some rates from, this is a Medicare Advantage municipal consortium, just to give you an idea how it can get very expensive. So what I want to mention is, and I know I only got about 3 minutes left, is that we pay higher premiums. We have very rich plans, but we also know our increase every year is going to be between 5 and 12%. We're not going to get those big years of 30%, 40% increases. If Otsego made sense, we would be exploring it as well. It hasn't even been off the ground yet, but these are the risks that come with a situation like that or an arrangement like that. So if we really want to save money, and I know I say this every year, and I put a copy of it again in the folder.
Yeah.
You know the deal.
Period.
Forget it.
You know the deal. I'm actually going through, there's a town in St. Lawrence County right now that has a union just like you guys, and it's taken 7 years of me talking to them about, hey, just like we talked to you guys, we've gone through the first round of union negotiations and we're still moving forward. I'm not saying it's going to happen yet, but this is the most traction we've had. And I'm happy to talk to the police at any point if we want to go that direction. But that's really been the tried and true in our market, the under 100 market, the community pool, to save money or reduce costs. So are there any questions on that? Because I want to make sure everybody understands that whole municipal consortium.
Yeah, I remember this came up, and these guys probably remember. I'm sure this is why it's probably part of your gig here. But we had a fella reach out to us about this whole consortium thing, and I'm just always interested in hearing things out.
Oh, that was that.
Yeah, it was those emails there. Yep, and Otsego County was named, and all these municipalities. Yeah, it was like Zachary
Zuckerman.
Yeah.
So he's been a competitor of ours for 20 years. I know Zach personally. He's from Plattsburgh, New York. You know, when you ask why are we part of the Alara group, so that when a Zach comes by, he can't say to the town of Webb, hey, I'm part of this national firm and we offer all these national resources. You're working with this little podunk agency up in Lake Placid. We're part of a national firm as well, Alara. So we have every resource that he would have through USI. My point of mentioning this is that these programs are out there, but they come with a lot more risk than the community pool with Excelis. There's no oversight at the state level, smaller pool, more volatile. And part of the reason it hasn't taken off yet is because the carriers know this is extremely risky to put probably 2,000 municipal lives in a small pool and then control costs with that.
He kind of, well, yes, but he kind of got into that when I spoke to him on the phone and was saying stuff like this hasn't really gotten off the ground. Tried to just, hear it out sort of thing. What you're saying makes perfect sense about like the pool of people in general not being like specific to municipalities.
But I can tell you,
That's what his whole focus on was just municipalities all joining together, joining forces and having a cheaper rate. But, like I said, what you're saying is making a lot of sense.
yeah, I appreciate it. And, we're always looking for collaborative ways to control costs, but there's risks that come with all of these. And the reason why you look at that list of municipal clients we work with, the reason why none of those have joined a municipal consortium is because of what I was just talking about. So. The only thing I'll end on is we're looking at dental and vision. I don't have all the quotes back yet, but I gave a little snapshot. That's the leader in the clubhouse from a rate standpoint. It's also a very good carrier. It's the one that I wanted to come in with the best rates. I still have a couple carriers to hear from, so when I come back in September or October, as soon as the health rates come out, we'll have firm dental and vision numbers. They very well could be the ones we're looking at on the sheet right there, but I have a couple more carriers I'm waiting for quotes from before. And we would, I'm assuming we want to do that for January 1st if we wanted to move forward, or would it be before
I
that?
think so, and I guess my question on that is, we do 10% right now. I don't think that we're really able to do 10% of this as well. But would they be able to buy into something like this
Yeah, so
without any of our contribution or a little contribution or?
here's what I'll say. If there's no employer contribution, these rates will go up a little, because if it's employee paid, the carriers they know there's going to be adverse selection. If there's no employer contribution, the only people that are going to enroll are people who are going to need dental and vision. So they load the rates about 10%. If you were to say you pay 50%, that we would get more competitive rates. I don't know what the budget will allow. The vision is almost pennies. The vision is almost pennies. The dental is the more expensive of the two.
Yeah.
But if you, as a town, were to pay something, we would automatically out of the gate get better rates just because it wouldn't be 100% employee paid. The best rates are if you pay 100%, but I'm guessing we're not going to do that. Because if you pay 100%, the carriers know they're going to get good risk, bad risk, and everything in the middle. If you only have employees pay, they know they're only going to get the people who need dental and vision services done, because they'll be the only ones that enroll. If you pay something, you're in the middle there, you get better rates than if the employees had to pay all by themselves, basically. So. But we can negotiate all that depending on.
So it's not insurance anymore,
It's not.
business.
Dental and vision is 100% different than Excellus. Than health insurance.
It is.
Because you're gonna, even with dental insurance, you're gonna have out-of-pocket costs. There's no doubt about it. So the way dental works, they'll give you $1,500 for the year in coverage. If you're over that, you're on the hook yourself for the rest of that. This works almost the opposite like health insurance. Health insurance, we have the out-of-pocket maximum. Once you hit it, you don't pay anything else. It's the opposite. The carriers pay the first $1,500, and then you're on the hook for the rest. So it's a little different, and we'd have to have that conversation with the employees so that they understand how this works. Because there's a misconception that, hey, I've got dental, and have everything done. The other thing is, if you're missing a tooth before you enroll, there's a provision called the missing tooth exclusion with dental. It's a pre-existing condition. There'll be no coverage for that tooth the entire time. So I'm up in Plattsburgh all the time with some of these companies.
I'll just lick that.
But it's kind of funny. But I'll be at some meetings where
That's
I don't want to
wild.
pick on Clinton County, but some of these employees will come up to me with no teeth and be like, "Hey, I want your dental insurance," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, but none of this is going to be covered. If you lose a tooth, if you're enrolled and then you lose a tooth while you're covered, it would be covered. But you can't come on without teeth and hope that they're going to be covered." And we laugh about it, but in my world, it happens more than you can imagine.
I'm sure.
I can tell you that.
The fake teeth count.
It's sad.
How'd I do? 25
Yeah,
minutes?
Good. No, you did it. You got like 2
All
minutes to
right.
spare. It was actually pretty well done. Bonnie laid the foundation there.
I can do that anytime. I can do that in September too.
I
You just
did.
tell me how right to the
30 minutes.
Any questions I can answer? I'll be back as soon as the rates come out.
When are you coming back again?
Traditionally, it's either your like third week in September meeting
Yeah.
or the first
We
week
got
in
So
October.
the
October
October
budget.
6th.
Most likely, I think it'll be October 6th unless we get them to come out earlier with the other rates.
Well,
But
the other one is earlier in September. We don't have that third meeting anymore.
that's right. So I'm pretty sure it'll be October 6th. Yep, that would be the safe bet at this point. So.
Pencil it in behind it.
You said was able to read. You said that
Sounds great.
Up to 1,500.
Yeah, so the carrier will cover $1,500 in expenses.
Right.
So all your preventive care would be in that, but let's say you need a root canal or something more,
Right.
you're gonna have out-of-pocket costs. Sometimes you can have significant out-of-pocket cost depending on what you're going in
Cost
for.
about half of what.
But you'll at least get 2 cleanings a year covered. So you got that. And you'll have some coverage if you need more, but it's not like health insurance. And I wanna make sure we all understand that.
No, yeah, I totally get that.
Because it's totally different. And but any other questions, just let me know, and as soon as the rates come out, I will be in touch.
That's perfect.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Ian.
Okay.
Thanks, Ian.
Have a good one.
You too.
Oh, yeah.
Take care.
Chris Johnson. Here from McCauley Mountain to talk to us.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's way easier than that. I just wanted to talk a little bit
You
about.
don't have a half hour.
Wow.
So back in July, we sent you guys all an email. I think you're interested in trying to invite food trucks up to McCauley. And I had conversations with Nancy. She kind of directed me into what we need to do. Not as open-ended as I guess I had it. So I'm back. I wrote a little application I heard earlier today, but I'm not still yet there. But
We're closer.
But basically, back in July when Kevin sent you guys that, and can I just grab you these? These are kind of like quick things to look at. And we don't have to look at it right now, but
These are not complete. Has lawyers not looked at it?
it's just
I
my
talked to the
Yeah,
lawyer,
sure.
there's some changes, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it
It's
says
a start.
that in there. Just this is kind of what I was hoping to
Perfect.
thinking about, and so basically we picked some days, and yes, you're welcome. And I just like, and I guess I want to tell you the why, right? Because so there's a couple of things. Like everybody knows that we don't have any concessions available in summer at this point in fall. We do have, I ran some numbers. I mean, we do have quite a bunch of folks that come up and use the chair. And we've also seen like a huge bounce in the number of folks that are up there using the mountain bike trails. One of the things that Nancy asked me to do is like pick dates, so I pulled Saturdays from Labor Day to Columbus Day. And I went back a few years just to kind of look at what our average Saturdays were like. And I mean, I don't know if you guys have an idea, but our Saturdays used to
Big.
average roughly, yep, because we do have huge fluctuations as we get into the peak season, but because we never know when that is, I took the 6 weeks and averaged it out. But it can be about 600 folks on a day. That is solely people buying tickets and going off my previous manager's record, right? So I think it might, so this year the numbers are going to be pretty accurate. I'm not saying that they weren't, but anyway, so based off of those, we got to, but we also seen a steady decline, right? So I looked first just at the past 5 years, but I mean, honestly, like looking back, because we can't really start with 2020 because that was a pandemic and everybody came running up here. But even prior to that in 2019, so we're just steadily like going down. I'm not saying this might be a fix, but I think that continuing on the downside is not good either. So maybe we do need to offer people something else up there than just taking a ride on the chair and leaving. We do, that being said, it's kind of like a really perfect spot for a business or a concession, I think, because those people come and then they leave. It's not like in our winter concessions where you get there at 9 in the morning and you're there till 4 in the afternoon, right? So you have people that come up, they ride the chair, grab something to eat, grab something to drink if we had it available, and on their merry way, and some other group comes in and replaces them, and the same with the mountain bike runs now. And so maybe somewhere down the road, somebody will be like wanting to jump on board with a more permanent concession. But since we don't have that, Kevin and I both thought it was a good idea to maybe just offer something else to make it a memorable day or a little more fun, da, da, da. So that's the why. This is where I'm at with this. Kevin and I talked and thought that and now that it's a lot later than we had hoped, to not do a cost for the food truck this first year. Part of that is because when we first were talking about it, I put a feeler out on 315 Food Truck Finder. Just basically, this is a location in the Adirondacks, a rough, like how far it might be from where you may be, if anybody would be interested. And that's like 13,000 followers on that site, and we had about 5 people that said maybe, and then 1 person came through and actually called us on it. So,
Yeah, so they're already booked.
Right.
That's a huge part of it.
Yep,
No.
yep.
Okay,
And, but also because even if they did have an open Saturday, it's a risk, right? They're gonna be driving, you probably, way
So
more about this than I
we
do.
explored food trucks back when places were, like after COVID, when a lot of businesses were like closed and everybody was still coming here. Like I wanted to put one in my parking lot to help my own kitchen because we were so busy.
Right.
Like have one actually like at the back door. I was calling around trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
That was like the PPP days where people just
Yeah.
it was just a weird time. And through the town is when they started to talk. They started to get that in gear because it was very vague out what the planning board has over there and the codes has over there. So then they kind of made some sort of ruling or whatever that it needed to be connected to a current permit in the town unless it was approved by the planning board, which is what Rock the Dock does. I think there's been some other. I think what they're doing down at Mountain Man is now doing that too. They get a food truck here and there for some events, so like it's approved, and I think it's awesome. I don't. Is it not busy enough in years past for McCauley to just have the concession stand open?
I've always asked nonprofits
It
to
just
go up,
always was a winter thing.
and they just couldn't do it. They had polar bears
'Cause-
went up one weekend and sold water and chips and.
I very much think
Cookies, I
that
think.
with you guys, your energy, everything you're doing, the food truck mindset, and concessions in general, I should say, and the mountain biking,
Yep.
there will be a point where I think that kitchens. It's also good for kitchens just to be open.
I agree.
For to be
Yeah,
closed because everything just gets in a lot rougher shape. What I'm getting at is maybe that will lead to that.
Yeah.
But I personally am all about just the fairness of it. Like I think I think it has to go to before the planning board. I know we can do it, can't
We
we?
don't have to go through.
I called them, and they told me that it's a town board decision.
So I talked to the lawyer,
Yep.
and he very much suggests that we charge, that we, she has in here a number.
So we
She
have,
doesn't want to have a charge. You talked about not charging anybody. He thinks you really should be charging.
we charge for rent
think we
and
should
we get a
too.
percentage of the other
We take
profits.
rent,
So we really need to not
So
just
the
let it be.
reason that we put that in there is just because it's so late and just to get a feeler out. And I think, and also, and I don't care, honestly. I don't know why, what
Can I just
what would be the
rewind for a
lawyer's
second?
reason
Because
for
it's town
charging
property.
though? Why
Because
would
we
you
just
care?
said, she just said, we charge to the winter
Charge
guy.
for
Yeah,
we
we
charge
He
for
charges,
set.
we pay, he pays rent $900 and then he gives it 5, I think he's 5% he bid of all his sales.
But they
So why wouldn't we have the summer food? The lawyer doesn't understand why we're not charging the summer person. Doesn't matter the time of year, doesn't matter the short notice, why we've given the winter guy,
yeah.
making us pay money, but then we're gonna be the summer guy, you're free, don't worry about it. We
Well,
can't
it's
do
not,
that.
it's not a property that they're taking over, right? I mean, they're bringing
I'm not gonna argue
their,
with the lawyer. You guys could argue.
I know,
my question, just to go back, was the town. It doesn't have to go to the planning board because I just want a clarification for
Correct.
myself that
Yeah.
it's town property.
Because it's town
So
property.
it's up to us if we want
our
to allow a
zone.
truck to be there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We can just tell the board like, hey, we're. Because I agree. There's so many people going up there.
Oh, yeah,
It's really
a good
neat, but
idea,
there's another side of that. There's this and again I don't like to bring my stuff into play, but there's this food truck Friday thing that happens in Lewis County.
Yeah.
I've heard from a friend who has a restaurant over there, who that just wipes out the restaurants on that day, which kind of stinks because our the amount of time we're busy here. But to say that somebody can't just operate a business and have something go on up there that would complement us, something that we're already offering, like a chairlift, I mean, it would be fantastic. But to just allow them to just come and do it, when it's like they just drive up,
Make money.
make probably like 10 grand, I would say they, and leave, then they're out of here. I think I tend to agree with, I think there needs to be a little more.
Absolutely.
I just don't think you can charge for one vendor and not another.
And it went to my original point, I said
Across the
fairness,
board.
like I just wanted, the whole thing,
Fair.
I just wanna be fair, that's why I brought up the planning board, and then being fair with cost,
Whatever needs to happen, I'd like to just bounce it out there and say that I think it would provide a way better guest experience. I think it's people that are already kind of there, maybe they, not so, I guess, I don't know. I don't know.
When this came up in the email, one of the things I think I suggested in trying it out was like, can you pick a busy Saturday to see, first of all, because you gotta find somebody to come up here. So can we look at a busy Saturday, maybe like as we get towards the end of September, to have somebody come up and, I don't know, pay $100 or something, I mean, just to try, I don't even know what that amount is.
That's what I thought at first,
Yeah,
you guys were talking.
to try it
a
out.
one weekend thing.
Let that roll into, Columbus Day weekend. And do
Where everybody
the
else is
weekend that
already
weekend,
saturated, right?
you know what I mean? Try
Oh.
a different truck.
I'll throw 2 cents. One of the
That's all
concerns
I
that I've always had with that situation is if somebody puts in a bid and they say, okay, obviously, we want you here, whatever the days we list, these were when you have to be here. Then we get bad weather or whatever. It's an outside thing. Are you gonna allow them to go in the pavilion? Or what are the things that are gonna happen with crappy weather? You're gonna say, well, forget it, go ahead, close the place, or
Well, so what
a lot of little
Louis County
things
does-
that have to come into view with trying to do that. And I also think that on the positive side, if this mountain bike stuff starts to come in and somebody starts renting bikes up there, things like that, it could be huge. I think it's a wonderful thing. But I steer a little bit on the fact of just trying it for a weekend or two. If it's a nice weekend, yeah, you probably will sell some things, and then you gotta think about the local businesses, are they gonna start harping at you like, geez, how our business is going up there? There's a lot of little gestures that are gonna come out, that's all. I'm not against anything, I'm just saying there's things that will come out.
Are you talking about the regular in the fall? What's your like first earliest day you're thinking?
Put it right on
Did you
here.
put it on here?
Yeah, there's a couple of days.
Right here.
But you won't be
Yeah, it's
ready,
time.
we won't be ready to.
I just ran every Saturday,
Right.
just picked every
Okay,
Saturday.
8:30.
Labor Day to.
Right, so just Saturdays at this point.
And it also was just, again, whatever, just someplace to start, because I feel like if we didn't start with something, we'd just be still talking about it.
I think trying, I've always been a person, that you gotta try to figure out if it's
Yeah.
worth it. That's,
Is Labor Day weekend? That's that's August 3rd. That's a good starting one. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, if you guys can find someone to go up there and they have all of what's needed to be
So
there.
it's basically what I put down was just an application, right? So I took that off of different other websites, like Lewis County's and what was the other one? Poughkeepsie, right, Nancy? Yeah, so some of the things that they require their food truck vendors to have, it's the, CYA policy, I guess, on that part, right? Just to make sure that all we're permitted and doing all that. And then it was just an application to see, because I'm not as confident that we're gonna have a lot of folks that are like, wow, this is a great opportunity. I think we might get a person or two, but I could be wrong about that too. And I think that if the other thought that I had about this is that if we just even get somebody's foot in the door, maybe Tommy, you could speak to this too from what you've got going on. But I think if they do well, then that will generate more interest in having other vendors who be like, oh, seems to me like it's like groups that talk to each other.
It's short notice, but it's also that gives you that much more of a year of trying it out. Like I don't want to. If we have to talk or give a nod or whatever there is tonight, whether it's a fee.
We're gonna decide the fee and it's gotta go to the lawyer.
Yeah, that's but I'm just saying on my end, if there's a fee or not, I'm okay with it. I'll just leave it at that.
I think there should be a fee, and I also wanna talk more about the pavilion facility. Are you gonna allow them to go up on the deck and they use the restrooms now, I'm assuming, but there's.
Everybody's
Clean up, there's
yeah,
a
like
lot
I
of
walked through
things
there
involved.
today and there was like a group of people. So as far as I'm concerned, because I am the person that you speak to if you want to rent out the chalet, if it isn't an open sorry it rained, come on in. I mean, and maybe what I need to state is that once we come up with a fee, it's a non-refundable fee. And it is limited. I'll add whatever verbiage needs to add, because I don't feel like it should be, sorry it's raining today, let's come inside, and besides that, it's a food truck that it needs to be self-sustained. I don't want it to be tapping my electric. I want it to be on their generator, and I put that in there because I feel like, I don't want it to cost us anything. I'm hoping that it'll just spur some more ticket sales.
What is going on with the bathrooms up there now? Do you people, if you go to the chairlift, you're not using the bathrooms, right?
You are,
yeah.
even if it's
Yeah.
rented out for
So
weddings,
that's-
it's still your
That's not gonna
access to them.
change.
This might be stuff that you guys might want to talk about with, like, it seems, again, the energy and the motivation from, previous years. The fall has been like, chairlifting out or like weddings certain days, and like if you guys want to explore opening up
Well, just
that
picnic tables and
place
a
with one
tent
another,
over them, and
go
there's
for it,
things. Hot sunny day, and you're sitting there eating a burger. It's kind of hot. Those things.
So, I mean, I can add the terms
find
to
a
that
treat.
too, but most,
Food truck's a food truck. I mean, the letter puts it down for you 14 states because there's so many kids there ski racing that it overwhelms the chalet.
Yeah.
So they've got a food truck right there at the base of the ski race.
Yeah.
And like this year, I mean, there's a line out the door for it, and
It's your car.
it's dumping snow blowing, and
Yeah.
you deal with it.
Yeah.
Hey, you go to your car or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or wherever.
I just meant the fall is just it's very untapped.
Right.
The McCauley, the mountain bike has obviously brought so much more up there.
that's gonna
You guys have a lot more. You
And
guys have a
they're
lot more to keep an eye on now. It used to be
In a
just
day,
like go up there,
yeah.
hop in the chairlift, and then get in your park in your car and leave.
Mountain
But
bike thing
the
is
mountain
gonna make
bike,
a big
watching them
difference.
ride by, yes, I would love to be able to tap into the numbers on that, and then
Yeah.
talk to Chuck and see if we could just put even a sign in.
That's gonna make a huge
I bet
difference
there's
up
a
there.
lot of, I bet we would be blown away as how many people actually come up and visit.
Well, and they've got kind of a rough number on it just because of the Trail Forks app of people using that. So they do kind of have a rough number. We can ask.
And I keep trying to point people to the apps too,
Yeah.
because some of them don't know, they're just, but anyway.
Yeah.
And
Cost to the
it's fine,
vendor, we
so-
need to come up with cost to the vendor,
Cost.
so we can get this to the lawyer to look at tomorrow.
And I
this
think they
is-
have to add,
You typically just do a percent,
not-
Nancy, or?
What?
So Lewis County's got a $30 fee for their food truck Fridays that you were talking about. I looked at it from their point of view, not the restaurants, but anyway. So it was, but again, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there because that's what I read about and I don't have a,
Did the lawyer say anything about what made
he
you like?
suggested
15% of sales.
of sales.
that to me.
But did he
is
say anything
probably-
about like just because the desires for free, like free versus just something for like liability or any sort of legal reasons, like having it
Legal
free?
reason is that we lease to everyone else. So
Yeah.
why would you not lease to somebody? Yeah,
I get that.
That's
Fairness.
the legal
Fairness,
reason.
I get. I'm
That's
just saying.
that's a legal reason
Yeah.
too, because they're gonna come back and go, we're not doing that.
Sometimes if you
Just
do
do it
something
for free.
if it's free, it's just one of those things that's
Right.
the
So you said it was $30 per truck
I think that's what they had on their registration.
versus a percentage?
Yes, and honestly, because I
I
think
like that idea better.
well,
I
I
do.
think they're
like-
just too cheap, but.
I think it's cheap, but I like that
I would
idea.
do- I would-
per
Yeah,
truck.
me too.
I
just
would
the
do
price
50 to
is
$100 or something like that, whatever you guys all think for this year. Let
And
you
then
guys
next year
get
you
somebody
should
to
do a
come in,
percentage.
see how it goes.
maybe next year, like if we draw people in with food, maybe next year we can actually rent the concessions.
That's-
Do you know what I'm saying?
That would be
So-
great.
Now, what if somebody comes up and says, I wanna have I don't have a truck, but I wanna come up and I wanna bring my grill and I wanna
Yeah, they got
try a
it.
business, are you
Yeah,
gonna let
they're gonna
somebody
have
do
to have a
that?
health permit.
Yeah.
Help for, no, I get that, but what if somebody wants to do it out in the air? Just
They
what
can't.
if?
So actually,
You know,
well,
what
no,
if?
actually, there.
That's Guy
there are
Greco 20 years
definitions
ago.
to that. You can actually, a food truck
Guy.
can also be a car.
Go
for 4 or
are you
5
talking
pounds,
about
kick them
car?
out.
I'm just, what if, some business in town's like, shit, I wanna go up there and make some money, and they send their help up there and wanna
Put a tent up,
put
put a grill
cook
up
outside, put a
and
grill, are we gonna allow that? Or are you gonna stick with the truck?
The more the merrier.
Well, that's not the point.
Anything to make, yeah, I get it, but, I
Talking
think,
paper here,
But
in the big picture, it'd be
whoever
awesome.
goes up there needs to be approved, right? Isn't
Yeah,
that what
and they
this
would have
is?
to have department, head. That's why I
Okay,
said,
yeah.
if it's a business, they're
So
gonna have
they
all
got,
that.
you gotta get if this is gonna work for 8:30, you know,
8:30
Nancy's
is
gotta
not
do
gonna
her
work.
part, you know, for.
8:30, I don't think it's gonna
So,
work.
But I think you leave the food trucks and trailers for this year, and then and then you leave it up if a business in town, if they can get the
You-
employees
there-
and help, and they want to do concession up there, then
Well, the part of that,
Competition, you know.
part of the issue was to be able to advertise, right, Nancy? And so you said that there are people that have food trucks in town, so.
I believe there's a couple
And add in
people.
the, express to like let folks know that, because I think Billy Torme might wanna come up and bring his
What do you want?
barbecue thing or whatever. I'm love the idea. And then
Are
advertise.
you open to other things besides the truck, that's all? People might.
Are these food trucks,
It's a
are
good
they all
question.
self-contained, they don't need to plug in, they don't need nothing, they just pull up and they're
No, they
running?
have to be self-sufficient, she doesn't wanna use any electric.
Food trucks are very self-sufficient. If you have a food trailer, I'm not too familiar with those, but they're pretty much set up
Usually,
to be self-sufficient as well.
Right.
They have their own
Generators.
gas.
And waters.
Billy-
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I
gonna
know Billy's got
eliminate, say
his,
we're not
that,
supplying.
in, Scott had that one set up, cause they did the mountain bike festival when
Right,
that
I
first
remember
started.
that trailer.
I'm all for it. I think, if we're looking at a fee, I think this year it should be $50.
Okay.
We're not having multiple trucks up there
Yes.
at once. We're having one truck.
Well, you're hoping for,
You're
Well, I
hoping
mean,
for
if we
a
get
buck.
multiple, great, but
Yeah.
if we don't.
Oh, that part
is it $50
That
for
part
the
I'd be
season or
careful
$50? $50 a season?
That part I'd
or
really be
per-
careful with.
per-
$50 a day.
What's that?
I didn't know that we were talking about having like multiple and like turning it into like sort of a little, like the food truck Friday thing.
I
That's-
don't
That
think
kind
so
of
either.
changes things up a little
I would
bit. I
just
think
do
if you're
one.
trying to offer something there for people as they're going to the chairlift or they're going mountain biking, that's different than trying to bring a bunch of people up there for.
So that can be controlled because of the way that I have that application set up, right? We could just do a first come, first serve on it and then let those
Just do
other
one.
folks.
So we
know
either have
that
to open
we-
it up to everybody, or we have to do a bid right for proposal. So we either have to open it up and just say, we have however many Saturdays they are, and they're $50 every time you come, or we have to be specific and open bids for it. So you really wanna open it up to get it going quickly.
I don't think you're gonna see 100 food trucks
We
come
wanna,
up there.
right, we wanna open it up.
Just
Well, like I said, I.
Well, Tommy
guess
said
two
they're
or
probably
three.
already, most of them are already booked.
Yeah.
You get
So
two
I
or
don't
three,
think
but
you're gonna get.
I don't think I'm
You
in
guys
favor
go
of
ahead.
more than one,
Yeah,
to be
I
honest.
think you're
I
gonna
think
get
you're,
some-
now you're gonna have a war up there. He's got a
yeah,
better
you're
burger than he does and.
That's what food trucks
It's
want.
gonna be better. You're gonna hear some stuff from the restaurant. Not me.
Probably
I
will
promise
too,
you.
yeah.
Right.
I'm
Open
not
up
saying
and
we
see.
should open up Food Truck Friday or Food Truck Tuesday.
I
or
honestly,
Food
like,
Truck Monday.
I love the fact that everyone's confident that there's gonna be that much interest, but I don't think it is, but maybe I'm wrong. I think Tommy was right to say a lot of these people already
Right.
picked what they're doing for
But
the
if you get 5 people call, you're gonna have to
You may
allow
have
the
somebody
5
that
people.
got, like, somebody's bar mitzvah canceled, and you know what I mean, there's some birthday party that's not going down, or something like that on a weekend, cause I
Why
think
don't you
Saturday.
shoot small here? Pick a truck. Pick
So
a
we have 1, 2, 3,
Saturday.
4, 5,
Can't
6,
pick a
7
truck.
truck, seven
You
weekends.
can't pick a truck.
If we're
You
doing
have
it
to be
open,
to everybody.
You
You
can't
as a
just go, "Oh,
municipality
Tommy, I'm
can't
gonna
call
have
up
you
Linda
come up."
Wheel and say, hey, I want
I'm
your
not
truck
going up
tomorrow.
there.
I'm just saying,
if we
So
leave,
it's, I don't like your tone, man.
Who's on that?
I got my other
I know
kitchen.
what I'm saying.
So you
That's
really
where
have
the
to
confusion
advertise,
started.
open it up to everybody.
Right,
You
you have
can't
to
be
do that.
specific and
You
call
can't.
people. That's where your bid and all you're gonna get into a
But,
problem.
and I don't know that we couldn't put on that application literally is just, I came up with it. If you want to say that we're limiting to the first truck per day, we can do that, or, I mean, you could say, sorry, it's closed when you fill out your application, or.
2 trucks per weekend at max or something.
I mean, that's not.
I don't think you're gonna see every food truck from
I
Lewis County.
appreciate we're having the
come here.
conversation, so.
Venue for the summer.
I don't think you're gonna see more than 3 up there unless we held a festival. So I honestly think if we just leave it open and see if
I think if you leave it
anybody
open and
takes
see
the
what happens.
bite,
And if you end up with 5 one day, awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
then next
Thank
year
you.
It's the
we
first
Then we
year
know next year not
to
to
get it under
limit it.
control and figure something else.
Then we know to limit it.
That's fine.
Right, I think that's.
Make it happen.
And you really can't limit it.
I don't think it's gonna hurt anything
So we'll
either with all the
put this in
weekends
tomorrow
that she
to the
has.
lawyer like that.
I don't.
Okay.
Big weekends.
I don't
coming
think
up
how
and a
busy
lot of
those
the
weekends are is
restaurants
gonna hurt any
Let's
business
go.
in town, cause there's, you know.
It's not a go until I talk to the lawyer.
We'll get the lawyer, yeah, we gotta get the lawyer.
Loud in my world.
Right.
We got some things we
Hey,
emailed wrong.
it's
We
like, oh,
got a lot of things wrong.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd call me and I can ask you to email you on
Is
it.
your email.
But I just
No, I saw it on the boat.
I am all
His
for
email is on
it. There's
it.
enough
I
going
think we're getting
around.
it. He just has to
I think the
I think
point
it's good. I
really
think
be
you're-
tapped into
playing
in
the
the
game
fall.
well.
Chris,
We'll-
good job.
Just to grab some sandwiches.
I think that we're moving forward on that, and that's exciting.
Saturday.
I know.
2 hour wait.
So it's
My
$30.
man and Stevie.
No, $50.
TVU.
All right, and the bill's done?
Just the fall.
$50, and that $50 goes back into my miscellaneous.
My
Let's
fees.
talk about it real quick.
Goes in my pocket. Tomorrow, we have to talk on the phone so you can fix this and get me a clean copy. Okay,
Yes.
we're good. Now,
Yes,
it'll
Kyle?
go back on your miscellaneous, correct?
Mike and I were up at
You're
McCauley,
right.
and I just want to give
Yeah.
everyone the heads up. Kevin does want to raise winter ticket prices.
Yeah.
He does not want to go extremely high by any means. For the weekend and holiday rates and the weekday rates, it's an increase of $5 across the board. And for your season passes, the regular adult preseason would only go up $21, and the regular season would go up $20. Teen as well go up $16 across the board and raise the family max to $920. I don't know if he has sent any of this information out to you guys yet.
Have him do it if you could, yeah.
Yeah, but just for next week, so that way we can all take a look at it and
Yep.
make a decision before we
Maybe one of those,
get
like,
into the winter.
Yeah, we need to make a
Current
decision
desired
next week.
things, kind of.
Yeah,
like
this
what-
is-
where
this
it's
is-
at, where we want to
Yeah,
go.
this is what he had given me this morning.
Too. I would like to vote on that for Tuesday so that when we go into preseason that we're all set, we're not
Yeah.
Sounds
That-
good.
behind the boat.
Well, you guys, he does need to give you this information
He's
because he
sending it. Yeah,
does,
he's
he
sending
had
it.
some other things too
We're
that.
sending you an email.
Thank you, Kyle, yeah.
I just wanted to bring that
That
up.
pass along and we'll be good to go.
We'll make sure that you get it.
Thank you.
In writing.
Because that's easy, it's just we need the numbers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's got 'em.
Plus he had some other little
That's all I got.
tidbits that,
Bring that one, okay. You guys are killing it up there too, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah, looks good up there.
job.
Yeah.
Really
It was
is.
a real, it's a good opportunity, really. I mean, we.
Carpet ride is, looked like, or whatever you call that thing now, it looks
I just wanna ride
awesome.
it.
It's in place.
Yeah.
I just want to ride it. Run back
You're not
there.
gonna ride yet?
I haven't gotten a ride yet. That's fine though. I just want to stand on it, and ride through it, and then.
He's talking about the magic carpet.
Magic.
He's talking magic carpet.
Yeah, I'm talking
Like,
magic
that's
carpet.
too
No, I haven't
bad
gone on the
it's
chairlift yet. I haven't been there yet either.
Okay, well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you
Very
much.
much.
Time and opportunity. I'll talk to you tomorrow, even though it's Sunday now.
Oh, then do it Wednesday.
I don't know. Talk
We have time.
to you. Bye.
I got
We have
one
time,
thing.
we're
Bye, Chris.
Yeah, we do.
I still have one quick thing.
What?
Just want to tell you guys, I have sat with Jay Williams over at the Codes, and I've been kind of speaking of the short-term rental stuff and everything, and he's got a bunch of details. I was hoping that he would come tonight, but I probably should have called him and reminded him, but anyways, my fault. I'm gonna ask him to come Tuesday night, because he has a lot of really great information that I think a lot of people have questions on, and some of it was very enlightening on me on where they're at, what they're doing, and he has some suggestions on how to control some of the violations and things like that. So we're at a next step here, and he really wants to move on it, but we all need to know what's going on.
Sure.
So I think it's important.
And well, I think it'll help straighten out what we heard the other night about the 11,000 short-term rentals in town.
Yeah.
I said they're going
He told me numbers, but
11,000?
I cringe when anybody asks me specific numbers,
Right.
because if I get it wrong, I'm the bad guy. So he has numbers of what he has on the books that are legal right now, and a bunch of them that they're going through to, if they are gonna be legal, and not for nothing, there's a lot that are not doing it anymore.
They stopped, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's,
because they got so saturated, all the prices came down, that's why they
yeah,
stopped.
it's been evolving, been interesting. And I know a bunch of them that they got their legal, they got their permits, they did everything, but they only did it 2 times this year. They only were, that's all they were gonna do was 2 times, 3 times, you know, so it's just great information that
Yeah,
probably people should know.
Yep.
perfect.
I don't really have anything. Keeping up with emails and stuff, but the complaints of that racket down there at Space, I guess. I myself here. The Tuesday, it's not, we're next Tuesday. Right?
Tuesday 12th.
Yeah.
Right next 12th.
Yes.
We're done.